Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. My name is Payal Makijani, your host for the evening. Today we're gonna learn about workforce planning, and the topics we're gonna discuss are what is workforce planning first. Secondly, we're gonna discuss about primary workforce planning criteria and the goal of workforce planning. Third, we will talk about benefits of workforce planning and workforce planning process in the end. So, let's start with today's webinar and learn about workforce planning. So, what is workforce planning? Process of analyzing existing employees and planning for future staffing requirements through talent gap assessment, developing employee management procedures, and setting recruitment strategies is known as workforce planning. It requires developing an appropriate and cost-effective strategy for retaining, recruiting, and training your workforce while also continually assessing employee performance. When we talk about primary workforce planning criteria, it consists of employee numbers, adequate skill set, budget, and flexibility. Employee numbers is getting the correct workforce size so the business is not overstaffed and inefficient but not too small to hinder growth and fail to match demand. Similarly, adequate skill set is also important, which means having the right mix of skills, capabilities, knowledge, and experience to perform effectively and achieve organizational goals. Budget means finding the optimal staffing expenditure to achieving a high return on investment from employees and maximize profit. Flexibility means developing your workforce to be agile and adapt quickly when changes in the market occur to keep the functioning of the organization effective. So, workforce planning has a goal to create a strategy for a staffing needs that ensures achievement of strategic objectives both now and in the future. Let's talk about benefits of workforce planning. Workforce planning prepare us for the future, and it helps in analyzing workforce discrepancies, anticipate and plan for change, decreasing hiring cost, improved recruitment processes, aligning HR processes with business strategy, develop driving talent investment, identify the talent gaps, and implementing a retention strategy. And these all are important for any organization who are working with large and huge number of employees and people resources. So, what is workforce planning processes? First, we decide what is our company's strategic direction and goals. How much employees do we need to achieve the goal to achieve the organizational goals? And then we analyze our existing workforce, their skill set, the demand, the um, type of workforce do we have. We analyze all the existing workforce and then we decide then if we have to hire more employees or workforce, or we need to um, detain some of the employees regarding our business process. Then we develop a plan, implement a workforce planning, and then again we monitor the results, and the similar process goes on repetitively every year um, to attain organizational objectives. So, how do we do workforce planning? Let's move on to our application. First, I will tell you how to create an application for workforce planning. Let's remove the existing application first. Let's start with creating a application for our workforce planning. So here we get into a page where we have three options. First is to create a sample application which creates a vision application for our PBCS application. Here we are working with EPBCS, so we will work with create a new application or migrate. You can use migrate option when you have your backup and snapshot ready, and you can simply migrate it here, and then you can work upon your application. So let's start with the initial process, that is first creating a new application. So click on to the start. Here you get onto the page where it asks for the name. Let us write EPBCS workforce planning. Let us give us a description, which is very important and compulsory. Demo application. Every um, name with a star indicates that it's very important to have that thing. So name is important, description is important, and application type. Here we have 5 type of application. That first one is custom, second is freeform, third is module, sales planning, and strategic workforce planning. And here we will choose modules because modules show the integrated financial business application. And then we get into the details page where we have to set all the details of our application to create our application to according to our own business needs. Suppose here we have time period, and we have two options right here, 12 months and 13 months. And 12 months is for the where our application is for planning for 12 months, and 13 months is used when the business works on 12 plus 1 month. So here I am choosing 12 months time period, and then we have start at the end here. We can suppose my business plans for 10 years to 2021 is the year when we started, and 2030 is the year till which we are planning to work in this application. So 21 to 30, first month of the fiscal year January, I can choose according to my own business need. For in India, it could be from April as well, but here I am choosing, just for the ease of explaining, I am choosing January here. Next is to choose a weekly distribution. Here I have 4 options. One is even distribution, another one is 445 distribution, 454 distribution, and 544 distribution. Even distribution is used when we are using 12-month time period. When we are choosing 13 months period, we cannot choose even distribution. We have to choose 445, 454, or 544 distribution respectively. Again, when we see the other details, we have task flow type, task list, and EPM task manager. EPM task manager is our default enabled. You can always choose to work with task list. Main currency here is my USD. Multi currency is enabled because my entity can work with multi currency. So here I have the input cube name, that is plan 1, and reporting cube name as EPBCS WFP, and I can enable sandbox and strategic modeling as well, which I am currently not, just for the ease of explaining the uh, workforce planning process. Next, here I am on the review page where we can review what we have chosen for our own application according to our own business needs. Here I can review and click on to create our application, and the um, application creation process is initiated. what we're gonna discuss today. Let's see what we're gonna discuss in our today's webinar. First, we're gonna see creation of application, which we just uh, which I just explained. Then we will see how to configure workforce planning module. Third, we will see how to upload metadata. Fourth, I'm gonna share of setting share how to set variables and setting user variables. And then we will discuss more about workforce planning, and this is what we're going to learn about workforce planning in today's webinar. So stay tuned. Here my application, uh, here I got the confirmation uh, text of application creation status, which says it it has been created successfully. So click on to OK. You can directly click on to configure and reach where I am currently leading. Click on to application, configure. Here when you get into this page, you have configure strategic modeling, and the very right hand side of strategic modeling, click on to this drop down menu, and you have strategic modeling, financial, workforce, capital and projects. In the previous webinar we completed our financial module, and uh, I told you how we work with um, finance module in EPBCS. And from today's webinar, we're going to learn about workforce planning. So click on to workforce, enable features. Now, granularity. Uh, Select all the features you want in your application. Here, granularity means wait. Select employees to manage workforce expenses at the employee only level. Select job to manage job workforce expenses at the job only level. Select employee and job to manage workforce expenses by both employee and jobs. If the entity we are working with is a small entity and it works in only one domain, suppose it just works with manufacturing and it has all the workers under it, so it could work with the employee granularity. And but if the company is large, when the entity is large, working with different sectors, with different kind of employees, some with finance industry, some with IT industry, some laborers, some manufacturers, and different kind of domain, different kind of people, then it could choose job or employee and job. Employee and job would enable in the application. For each employee you can state the employee name and the job he is working with. So we will click on to employee and job. Then we will enable expense planning. Expense planning would include additional earnings. Now what is additional earnings? Additional earnings are anything which you get after salary, sorry, anything you get in your salary after salary basic plus DA, that are house rent allowance or medical allowances, or you can say conveyance allowances. So many allowances you get apart from your basic salary and DA. So these are all additional earnings. here we can choose up to 30. The limit is 30, but here I am choosing only 10, just to showcase how, just to enter 10 additional earnings. You can add as many as your company needs, right? Benefits is again all the we get medical benefits, we get benefits of um so many benefits we get, like PF or mm, medical health insurance we get, and life insurance policy we get. So many things we get in our salary. These are all called the benefits. Here again I am choosing limit as 10. Taxes are professional taxes, or these are some taxes which appears to be in our salary, in our salary income, and we can see in our form 16 non compensation expenses, merit based planning. We can all enable all the things we need according to our entity and the country our entity is working with. Headcount planning, flexible account mapping, I'm not enabling it. Why I'm not enabling it? Because here this application is very new and the financial module has not been enabled, so this would not get enabled any which ways. So I am not enabling it currently. When you work with, when our planning application is integrated and financial module is enabled and work, then the flexible account mapping works. Employee demographic, workforce management, how I want to manage my workforce. I want to inculcate new hires, new termination, transfers, merit based planning for new hires, and all. So here I would enable the same. Now when we talk about map or rename dimensions, we have all the dimensions, most of the dimension we need, like skill set, component, property, job, employee, union code, highest education degree, gender, age band. We have all the majorly used dimension. But if you, again, if you need custom dimension according to your own business needs, you can all, you can always enable custom dimension and give it a name, and um, keep the custom dimension from here itself. Or you can even change the name or rename the dimension name. Like for example, skill set, I can rename it to skills, or somewhat like that. Or I can change the employee name to workforce, right? So this is how it works. Now I don't want to change anything currently, because it's all I need to explain. So yeah, I will not change anything. Enable, when you click on to enable, the features you have chosen will be enabled. So click on to yes. This would enable all the features. Okay. So after enabling all the features, we get into this page where we will just refresh our database. Okay, close. After getting into this page, the first thing we will be gonna do is planning and forecast preparation. We will click onto planning and forecast preparation. Here we will select our current fiscal year, which is financial year 2023, and the period we are working in is December. And for what year we are planning for the next fiscal year, that is financial year 2024. Now click on to plan, and we'll see, and it will ask us that for the financial year 2024, how do you want to plan. You want to plan in monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Select um, the way you want to plan. Here I am selecting quarterly. For the financial year 28, I have selected yearly. Say similarly for the forecast, I would say I want to forecast my uh, forecast monthly. Save and close. Again, when these all are our dimensions, and when they are not configured, so they will show the status as not configured. After uh, when they're not when you will at initial stage, all the dimension would be not configured. For each of the dimension, you will have to um, import the metadata. I will show you how the metadata looks like, how my CSV file would look like. It would be a CSV file, point to be noted. And click on to the dimension name, choose file. Here I have a file name. Wait a minute, we are working with employee, so choose file, employee metadata, open, validate, and import. Okay, this is how. And the moment to import the file, the status will show as completed, and you can check if your file has been imported successfully or not by clicking on to job. Here I can see my metadata has been imported successfully. This is how we gonna import all the metadata of all the dimensions. See, we will import the metadata for the employee, entities, job, union code, and components. This is how we upload metadata. Now our next step here would be to create a user ID and password. So click on to tools, click on to access controls, manage users, create with the name Payal, choose password, confirm password, First name Payal, save, search, and you will get all the roles, assigned all the roles and the groups, and save it. Okay, save. Okay, now sign out. Why I am saying to sign out is, when you don't sign out and sign in again, our application don't configure what we have enabled. So sign out and sign in again, so our application gets time to process. And the things we have enabled gets incorporated into our application. Again, click onto application, tools, click on to variables, and choose all, define user variable for each of the dimension. Like for, like here for example, currency, I descendant input currency is given, and for rest of the dimensions you have to define all the user variables. For entity, I'm gonna define I descendants of total entity. Okay, for scenario, again I'm gonna define I descendants of scenarios, OEP scenarios. Same with the version. Okay, similarly I would do with the years. Okay, and here I am done with all the dimensions. Save. Now in the same line you can see the user variables here, user preferences. Here click on to user preferences and you will get into the general page, and in the very left hand side you have the preferences and so many options below it. Click on like the general, display, notification, ad hoc options, user variables, reports, and form printing. You need to click onto user variables and select all the members for each of the dimensions. It would be the zero level member, like for input currency USD. Okay, in entity, total entity. Here I want to work with finance US, so my entity would be finance US. Currency would be USD reporting. Scenario, OEP plan I need, so I marked OEP plan. Again click on to member selector, OEP version, OEP working years. I want to plan for financial year 24, so I am selecting financial year 24. Similarly, expense account, I would select okay. Employee parent, I want to work with new employees, so I would select OEP, OWP hiring requisition 1, and period for the here I am planning for quarter. I can plan for each quarter or month, so I'm planning monthly, that is for January. Okay, and save. So what does user variables do? It acts as a filter in a form where where we input our data. So choose every member and user variables according to requirement of business entity. Go to home page again, click on to application, and this is how we set our application for workforce planning. So what we discussed about creation of application, we discussed how to configure workforce planning module, how to upload metadata and setting variables and setting user variables. Next we're gonna learn about how do we um, process the data of each of the employee in our application. How do we work with the data of each of the employee in our organization? How do we work with their benefits, and their additional taxes, and grade they work in, and the job they work in the next webinar we will and we will learn to calculate the each of their salary according to their own grade in the next webinar. So stay tuned, and if you have any doubt, please write to www.bispsolutions.com, and see you next time. Thank you.